Arganissima, New York. Your exotic skin, hair, and beauty source, and your one-stop shop for all your natural and organic skin and hair care, featuring authentic organic Moroccan oil and prickly pear seed oil and much more. Bringing you only the best, straight from the source and proudly produced in the USA. So what are you waiting for? Shop today at www.arganissima.com. Arganissima, New York. Your beauty is our duty. Arganissima.
Well. Welcome back to the iHealth channel and iHealth Radio. Hurricane H here, new show, new day, new guest. And today's guest is, as I had mentioned before, is literally calling us and meeting with us from across the Atlantic Ocean. He is actually currently in Spain, but native of the Netherlands. Also, some folks may refer to as Holland, and we just had a discussion about that. And his specialty is really in the mindset. It's in how he's a coach, of mindset coach, and helping people get really a balanced lifestyle. And we're going to talk about that today. So without further ado, I have to introduce our guest today, Bas Lebesque. I said it right?
Yes, you did perfectly.
Okay. I always try. But thank you. But Bas, it's a great pleasure to have you on the show, and definitely our listeners and viewers will be interested in learning your insight from you and taking some of the insights that you have to offer. And I know we had this booked a few months ago, didn't pan out, and we had to reschedule. But we're here, and that's great. So how are you doing?
I'm doing great. As you said, I'm in Spain right now. It's my first travel since I think July last year, due to COVID restrictions, of course, and the trip went actually very smooth. I'm very happy.
All right, well,
in a very good place. Yeah.
Where, if you don't mind me asking, whereabouts in Spain?
I'm in Denia, and that's in between Valencia and Alicante. It's on the Mediterranean coast.
Oh, nice.
And it's nice. We had the most horrible spring in the Netherlands and in big parts of Europe. It's been like colder than normal and rain for like almost, I would say, 2 months. So to see a clear blue sky right now is like amazing.
Well, I mean, listen, you're in a very nice area of Spain. I actually been to Valencia. I mean, obviously you're north of it, but it's gorgeous. It's a good place to be, and now it's perfect. It's not too hot either, right? I don't think it's very perfect.
No, it's like 26, 29 Celsius. So I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. Maybe you can do the conversion better than I do. It's probably in the high 80s, I would say, maybe.
I think maybe low 80s. Again, I can't convert, but I'll look it up.
Let's say 80s.
It's around the 80s. That's fine. That's a perfect temperature. It's better than we have here in Jersey, so I can tell you that much.
Okay, good.
We're actually chilly today, and with massive rain, it's very gloomy. It's not a good day today to be out there.
Okay.
But so Bas, your expertise has a history. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Story behind it. And I read the story in the bio, and it's pretty interesting, how you evolved around a lot of things, and many things affected who you are, and
yes,
how you have leaped into helping others to really understand the balance in life and kind of set a reset to really enjoy life and to a better life. So that's really our focus today for the show. And I think we talked about COVID and how it impacted, you didn't travel for a year, and that's the case for many, many, many people around the world. Even to date, many countries are still locked down or shut down.
Absolutely.
Within the countries, within, some of the places you still have to do some quarantines, whatever, but it's been crazy. But this is even beyond that, and having a good mindset of life is an important thing to really address life as a whole. I don't think there's enough information out there, or there is enough information, but I don't think it's enoughly exposed, in the mass media and all the daily life. I mean, people are not getting coaching on TV.
No.
You can get news, you can get, all the bad and the good, and, you can get movies, but you don't get, real informational stuff or informative stuff that can help guide. I mean, unless you're in the corporate world or you actually seek coaching yourself, typically there's not enough, access unless you do the search and, you book yourself. So this is a great opportunity to bring an expert into the platform and hopefully exchange some of those ideas that otherwise will not be accessible. So that being said, I really want you to tell us a little bit about the history, your story, and how it all evolved to today.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of things happened in my life, but like the first time in my life when I was completely shaken out of balance was when my mother died when I was 12 years old. She died of cancer, and now looking back to that moment, that was really the moment where I started to question life and what is the meaning of life? What does it mean to live a fulfilled life? And how are you going to look back at your life when you come to the end, whenever that's going to come? I mean, I didn't really start with these questions, of course, when I was 12 years old, but the seed was planted back then. And I took myself on a journey where I thought money, career, status was going to do it for me, and I went through a career in hospitality, into working 100 hours a week. And at that time, I was smoking 2 packs of cigarette a day, which was, completely insane. To then move into a career as a financial trader, and I became quite successful, and I had the bonuses and the success and the validation. But still, I was but then I was about 33, 34. I was still not happy. It's there's more in life than just moving money around the globe and bringing it back. And it was, the amounts of money were insane. I started, my first trade was around 10,000 euros. Let's say that's $15,000. And I ended my last trade in 40 billion euros. So around, what, 50 billion US. A lot. But the first trade was more exciting than the last one. It was it was insane. But also, I was am I going to do this for the rest of my life? Is this really is this really how I'm going to fulfill my life? And I was this is not it. So working myself through letting go of all the attachments I had to the money, to the status, and the recognition. It took me about, I would say, 2 to 3 years before I took that step and basically said, okay, I'm done. I resigned. I walked into my boss's office one day and I said, I'm out. And I was so nervous, for what was about to come. I was kind of believing, there's either this or there's living on the street. It's there's nothing in between. I'll lose everything. I will lose my house. I will never get another job. I will, all these crazy things I was telling myself. And I did. And that really started to, was the moment I also really started to do the inner work and the inner journey, and to do the self-improvement I needed to do, and to work through some of my issues that were still bothering me. And at first I started doing these things for myself, and I started working. I went to the School of the Work of Byron Katie. I don't know if you heard of her, but if not, doesn't matter. And in that, it's a 10-day seminar, and it's you're in kind of in a bubble. And but coming out of that seminar, I started coaching with people that were students, and we were doing Byron Katie's work on each other. And I think I did like 300-400 hours of coaching with her method, with, you know, just for my own benefits of working through my own issues, but also helping others working through their issues. And that really got me in touch with what I wanted to do next, and how I'd like doing, how I was enjoying coaching, and, you know, and all the things that I've learned through my life, through the habits that I've changed, and to the decisions that I made. And yeah, that's what and that's how I translated that to my clients. And that's basically how I came to my coaching journey, summarized.
Well, that's pretty interesting. But let's break that down. I mean, obviously had a tragic moment in life in early on, and that is no picnic when any child lose, and even at an older age when you lose someone close and parent, it's always an impact. But at that early,
absolutely,
it's tough, and especially cancer and all that. I mean, there's an impact, and you're right. You start thinking why life ends quick and so on and so forth, but then you got caught in the world, in the lifestyle where everybody has this pressure. At a young age, we all had to go through that same phase where, you got to get degrees, you got to go, to the job, the right job. You want to get better degrees, better job, more money. And, it's always about the money, and it comes with pleasures, right? I mean, the more money you have, the more you can do, right? You can get the house, the bigger car, the best car, the faster car, the jewelry, the fun, all the stuff, the travel. And there's nothing wrong with that. Ambition and dreams are great. The problem is we get caught into that cycle, or the circle, actually, a vicious circle. It doesn't end. It just keeps going on. And then from one place to the other, you find yourself just caught. And sometimes people don't know how to get out of it or balance life. And so there's the mindset, here. There's the mindset for the personality to get you where you need to be. And there's the mindset of like, how do I get out of it when I need to and be able to balance things? And in your case, I mean, it seems that you had a great life. It seems that you had everything that everybody would dream of. Yeah. There was a point you said enough. That's actually a very, very dangerous moment, because to your point, you don't know what's going to happen if you walk out. But you did. You just took a leap of faith. I'm out. Let's see. Whatever happens, happens. I'm ready for the next journey. That's not something that everybody can, accept, or a lot of people will not take that chance. Most of the people are afraid. Because when you have enough possession, sometimes it has to let go. You just don't want to let go. It's like, hey, I got everything I need. What do I? And then there's always like, wow, he was rich. He's not rich. This, that. And again, that's when we start thinking about what other people think about us, how we're being perceived. So how what would you say to people? How was that transition to you at that moment? You didn't know better. You just knew one thing, that it was enough. This life sucked. This life didn't suck, but it was like, that's it. Too much. How can I do this?
It's you. You have to. I mean, first of all, you have to believe that it's possible for you. That you. I mean, I believed for myself that there was more. And if I to get more, like, and then when I say more, it's like in happiness and in fulfillment and making an impact on the world, or on the people that I'm with. Instead of making 100 million for a pension fund, who never even said thank you. It's like now I'm making an impact on people's lives. I see them transform in front of my eyes. They're super grateful, and that's really what makes me. That's what makes me happy. But like going back to that question, you have to envision that's a possibility for you, and then like. I mean, you have to be honest about your life as well. And it's like, okay, what am I doing right now? What am I really telling myself right now? What excuses am I using? Am I willing to keep telling this story or keep using these excuses until the day I die? And if that's that can be a choice too, but it's not my choice. And then you don't have to go you also don't have to go like all in the way I did, from one day to the next. That's it. You can also, you can take little steps, and there's like so many different forms and varieties you can use. And the work that I've done with some of my clients, they thought that working 70 hours a week was the only thing they could do. That was the only way they could be productive. That was the only way, like a senior role that they were in. It was just comes with the package, working 70 hours a week, being always on. But when we really started looking into, in leadership, and how can you like change it, that it works for you, and that you do it in 45 hours a week. And it's possible, and I've done it. But these people, they're like I was. I was like, I thought this was the only thing. It was either trading or living on the street, and these people are with their back against the wall. There's all this pressure on them. They're working 70, 80 hours a week. They're ignoring their relationships. They're ignoring their children. And they don't know, they don't see the way out. And the way out is you can stay in the job. It's not that I've taken these people out of their jobs. They're still in their jobs, but they're now doing it so much more relaxed, and they now they choose to be in this situation, and now they know how to create that balance. And it's really, you can take a big step, or start taking small steps, and that's how you create the change.
Well, that's an excellent point. Now the one thing that I see in the issue where people get caught with is it's they're stuck. In one case, lifestyle is compromised because you're right. They miss on everything that is more valuable than money. And sometimes it's like a trade, your career versus your family, your health. And, I've seen it in live around me. And I've actually had experiences throughout my career as well, where even me personally, I was at a point where my career is first, and I'm, 7 days a week. And you have to do that. I mean, in my case, I had to prove myself in my field and, get to the level that I needed to be, again, to a senior level where, it was like, hey, that's the dream. I made it. But so that was my dream, and I was willing to go through it. But then you get to a point, is like, you're right. This is not it. This is not the end. There's more. I got to balance that. So I developed myself the ability to try to balance. And I, even in my own world, I encourage people, hey, take vacation. You can't just be working the whole year without taking time off. You need to go. I don't care. You stay home, but you're not going to be working the whole year. You got to take some time. Because again, the other thing is, when you don't take care of your family or your kids, if you have kids and so on and so forth, now you're missing on the childhood. They're gone before you know it. The kids grow up. The other one is the fact of, you might have an impact in your relationship with your, significant other and, your partners in life. And then what happens? Now you have other problems because now that impacts also your whole thing. Now you have stress, and people get a little too much stress, and then there's depression. There's all these other things that take place. Then substance take place. Now I gotta substitute that with maybe a little bit of a fun, element in my life, such as drinking or some sort of drugs and stuff to just come. So all these things have an impact, but it's all about, how we are pressurized into this in the world. It's you're almost put into this where, like, if you don't have these things in place, or it's not working, like something's wrong with you. People don't want to look at you like that's one aspect. On the flip side, I get it when someone is in a top career and maybe there's money being made, but you see the same thing with someone that is in an entry level point or a steady job where it's basically a dead end job. They still work the same hours. They still do the stuff. They may still not enjoy life, and they still have the same problem. So that is a contrast that I think sometimes interesting, because it doesn't matter what level. It doesn't matter what it's the same formula. It just at a difference. And both people will probably is like, I got the money, I got all this, but it's not working. And I got nothing, it's not working. Where's the mix?
The other day, I mean, I I was approached by a high school student. He was doing his final year, and he's like, he had been following me on LinkedIn, and he was like, I want to do your coaching. And I was like, okay, but he couldn't afford it, so I was like, okay, I'll make you a special deal, which we did, and it was it was so amazing, you know. It's like he was 17 years old and he was doing exactly the same thing as all these executives were doing. And you know, when you talk about entry level, you know, I was like, you're doing exactly the same things, you know. You're 17 years old and your school is everything, you know, where for these people work is everything, and they feel pressure from work. He feels pressure from school, for grades. And he was just like, you know, it was only school, you know, and he basically removed all the fun out of his life. He used to do a lot of sports, and he was quite good at it. And you know, when he was talking about sports, you could see his face light up, and he was like, he was bubbling energy. And then, you know, then school came about, and it was like, oh, it's so tough, it's hard, you know, I need to do this, and I'm struggling, and my grades aren't good enough. And it's like, yeah, you know, you need to bring the fun back into your life. And that's what we've worked on. And like one of the things that he said, you know, I want to buy my mother a house. His mother already had a house, you know. It's like, not that she didn't have a house, or that she needed to buy it. And it's like, okay, so let's have a look at this, you know. Are you willing to, have you asked your mother if she wanted a house? You know, let's start with that. You know, give her the choice, you know, go work for the next 25 years, then buy me the house. I will never see you for 25 years. Or, you know, shall we spend some time together? You know, I will not get you the house. You already have a house, but I will spend a lot of time with you. You know, I know, you know, I haven't spoken to his mother, but I'm quite sure what most mothers will say. I will not speak for her, but and you know, I was kind of shocked that you know, a 17-year-old kid was doing this already, you know. And then, you know, of course, and I'm sure he's not the only one, so there must be plenty like him. And it's a pattern that's created at a very young age. And they, you know, they take it into university, they take it into their first job, they take it into their career, and then yeah, and then they're 40 years old, and then they come to me again.
Well, you know, you've covered some angle there, but here's an interesting question, and that probably can give us a little bit of insights on, you know. So that sometimes that what indicates here, what's indicating to me, at least, you know, I'm getting the concept, working hard, not smart. One,
yeah,
potentially working in an area, something that you don't even like, and you're doing it because of no choice, or because you think there's no. So these are two elements that I think impact our decision making. And you're right, we get absorbed, and maybe again, even false expectations. He wants to buy a house, his mom, because he wants to please his mom, but when maybe she doesn't need a house. She wants a child to be with her and spend time. Let's go travel together. Let's have a life, you know, together, because life is too short. So how do you, you know, advise people in terms of like balancing that? Like, you know, you can work, but work smart, not so much hard. I mean, there's a level of hard work, but that always have to be there. But smart about it is always the key. But also, I have seen this, and we heard this all the time, you know, and we're still hearing about this all over. People are working jobs they don't even love or like, or they don't even know or want to be in, and therefore they're miserable. But they're just doing it out of, they're forced to it, and nobody they force themselves to it because they think there's no other way out. You can find your passion. You can find something, and if you work something that you love, you will never actually be working. You'll be enjoying. So what is your statement? What is your, you know, view on all this, on this particular angle here?
Well, there is, you're right, and there is this thing, you know, that we kind of want it all. We want that, we want all the material things, we want the perfect relationship, and then we want to have a job, that the moment we wake up, we're so happy, that we can go to this job, and it's an amazing thing, and it's like it will give you everything, it's the best colleagues, passion, your connection with your purpose. And I mean, it's somehow it's a fantasy. We're always comparing ourselves to this like perfect image somehow. And kind of like if you bring it back to like accepting what is, and being in touch with, and it's okay to sometimes feel miserable, and it's okay to sometimes feel lonely in a leadership role, or yeah. Then of course there are bad days. If you wake up every single day being extremely happy going to work, it's, yeah, you cannot be happy without experiencing unhappiness. So it's that. Or there also needs to be a little bit of a balance. But I've also worked with people that were in a career, and they kind of lost their happiness, and I just help them find their happiness back. Or they'd be like, I'm with this company, I'm not enjoying myself. The last couple of years I'm on autopilot, and I don't enjoy it anymore. I need to either leave the company, or yeah, I need to find my mojo back. And then we start working, and and we start working on their energy, and like looking at like health issues, starting to move more or eat differently, and or sometimes sleep better, and then you already see that that brings can bring back happiness, and the last guy I worked with, there was a reorganization coming up in his company, and he's like, I either need to leave, or I need to stay and then be happy and prepare myself for a new bigger role in this company. So we really worked. I mean, it's whatever he decided, but we really worked on creating that happiness in the moment, in today, and that basically made him decide that he wanted to stay, and in the end he did get the promotion.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's being in like going back into flow, or coming into flow, which also can make a huge difference. But I mean, the change for him wasn't only like in his career, it impacted. He started to he impacted it in his relationship with his 3-year-old son as well. And he became, like the irritation he had at work, he was experiencing similar irritation with his 3-year-old son. And that, it all changed, his career changed, his relationship with his son changed, the relationship with his wife changed. And that's, yeah, that can also, did that answer your question? Sorry.
No, you did. I mean,
Okay.
the concept is really just understanding the balance, and being able to know where you need to make moves correctly, and to understand what's in it for you, because you just said it. This particular client was able to adjust life, get still what he wanted, and now he has a better relationship in his personal life.
Absolutely.
Therefore, there's happiness in both sides. You're happy. You're happy at work. Now, we do spend a lot of time at work. I mean, that's just the way the universe works today.
Yep.
We spend almost double time at an office space or whatever we do. I mean, if you're working 40 hours a week, I mean, that's pretty much a long time of your week. I mean, if you take off sleep time, I mean, you're spending about a third of your life in there, and maybe that's with your family, and it does have impact. Now, someone single may be different, but if you have a family, you have kids, it does have an impact. So that brings me to a question. I mean, I know there's a couple of questions I want to ask. One is that probably people want to hear about. One is, I know you've mentioned, anybody from an executive to a teenage, or not a teenager, but like a
Yeah.
student, so your portfolio of clients is well versed. I mean, there's so many types of folks that you encounter that
Hmm.
that you work with. Can you share with us, like, because people think, well, this is not for me. Maybe I'm not
Hmm.
a person that can seek help or get some coaching in my life because this is not what how I am made. But in your experience, you've experienced a lot of people. Is this limited to any particular group?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I come from a corporate world. I speak that language, so um, that's where my main clientele is. But I mean, I have this like this college, well, this high school student, but there's I'm also helping this guy. He comes from Romania and he's living in the Netherlands now, and he used to be a business analyst in Eastern Europe, and his English isn't as good, and he's now working here in the Netherlands as an order picker, and he's like, I I want to I want to have that role that I had back home. I want to have that here, and I have I know all the languages, the IT languages, and I'm helping him with that, and that's yeah. I mean, if you say like, if you set that off to an executive, I mean, it's huge. It's a huge difference, but
Yep.
yeah. So, but I mean, he's making a very conscious choice for himself, where he says, I need this. I want to develop myself. I don't want to wait any longer. I don't have the time to to improve my English for I don't have a year to do that. I need to do it fast. I mean, I'm not teaching him English, but I am, like changing his approach that, even with his limited English, that he can apply for jobs, that he can put himself out there, that he can which he wasn't doing. He was like, I'm going to wait for like another like 9 months or a year before I'm going out there. And I was like, no, we're going to start today. You're going to you're going to apply today. And I don't care whether you get the job or not. I don't care whether you get an interview or not. It's not important in this phase. And he goes out there, he has 2 interviews, and they tell him, like in one, they told him your English isn't good enough. It's like,
Mhm.
that's not a problem. We already established that. We already know that. But you have experience. You're getting experience. You need to create experience in having interviews in English. And maybe you need to do 50, but it's not a problem. Number 51, you will score the job. Um, but he at the same time, he's also a heavy smoker. He went from 30 to 5 cigarettes a day. He gave up energy drinks. He was drinking like 4 or 5 energy drinks a day, and it's like, it's you see him changing, and you see his confidence growing, and it's an amazing journey, and yeah, you can be an executive, and I can help you very, very well. But this coaching is for other people too.
So, in your experience,
Mhm.
what was maybe one example that is very odd in terms of what someone, reach out for, something that
Mhm.
we're looking for that is not your standard. I mean, we talked about happiness, family. Was there any experience where someone was looking for something that is totally like beyond that, or it's always the same standardized, version of things that everybody wants to achieve? If there is.
Well, it's in the end, it all boils down to self-limiting beliefs, or to a mindset, or like people repeating their past life today. Uh, but I had this one woman. She is in her early 60s. She's been a diabetic for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. Uh, and she's been in that system for a long time. And she's like, I need your help. I was like, okay, so we looked at her. I basically, the only thing I did, I changed her attitude towards food. And she's been to dietitians, to doctors. She's been in the system, and normally I work with clients for 3 months at a time. So we're 7 weeks in, and I ask her, it's like, so what do you think? Where you're at? We have 5 more weeks to go, and this was like early February, and it's like, so what are you thinking? And she's like, I couldn't, I wouldn't even have believed that I would be here by the end of 2021. And I was like, so she's like, maybe not even in my lifetime. And I was like, okay, so, we have 5 more weeks to go. What are we going to do? Are you ready to step it up? And she wanted to well, she's been told she had been on medication before, and then she was off, and now she basically was told to have to get back on it again. And she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And so yeah, I like within 2 months, her blood sugars dropped that much that she doesn't need the medication anymore. And she now has a tool basically to, I mean, I don't know, of course, how our health develops, but if she continues like this in a normal, I mean, I'm not a doctor, and I also tell her, stay in touch with your nurse, stay in touch with your doctor. It's not my decision, but just like if she would continue this, she can be off medication for another like 15 years, 20 years. She'd be 80, and that's it's
an achievement.
Yeah, and in her testimonials, she also says, that, and that was very, very touching. She's like, she said that I probably saved her life, which yeah, I mean, it's such an honor, such a reward. I mean, a trade of 40 billion can't compete with that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And that's basically, it's really, and that's also one of the things that really surprised me. She's like, I've been in this system for so long, and what you've done in 7 weeks, no one ever did with me in the regular healthcare system. And I was like, okay, I haven't. To me, it wasn't. Yeah, maybe I'm a little humble or something, I don't know, but it didn't really feel that special to me. But it's like, it's really, I really dived in deep with her.
You related to her.
Yeah, and but also like like her attitude towards food, and one of the simplest things I did with her is basically move her dinner from the couch to the dining table. She was like eating a massive amount of food, in front of the television, and unaware of what she was eating. And now she had to sit at the table. And at first she was really like, "Come on, are you really? Is that really going to shift the needle?" And I was like, give it a try. Just like, if you don't want to do it, like give it a week, and then if you still say, it's ridiculous, then you can go move back to the couch. So now she's sitting at her dining table with this massive amount of food on her plate, and she's like looking at it, and she's like, really? Is this what I'm going to eat? So she tried. Now, I mean, of course, the first time, but it was too much. She left part, and then, she started to basically she cut her dinner in half. And on top of that, she's now sitting with her partner at the dining table, having a conversation. That's a change. That puts a lot of like new energy into your relationship as well. You all of a sudden you start talking about new things, past things. That doesn't really matter, but it's that was there. A big change happened there as well, which yeah, it's that was an odd experience.
Well, it is, and it's funny because I was going to ask about, do you use other, I mean, the mindset and the balanced work lifestyle, but do you also touch on healthy diets and healthy practices and healthy living type of things, such as walking, the training, all the stuff? And you kind of answered that already, because you use different aspects of it. You might not give the clinician advice, but you certainly give them a lifestyle advice that helps.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
and in this case, listen, diabetes is brutal, and
Oh, yeah.
and 40 plus years, I mean, it's a long run, and it destroys humans. I mean, period. I mean, I experienced that internally. I mean, my mom is diabetic for about 30 years, and I know it's not easy to manage. And so it's totally like, interesting to see that how you were able to shift her mindset slowly by minor changes. These are not big changes, but also you work with her belief system and allowed her to make that decision consciously, because you gave her the choice. Hey, try it, pilot it. If it works, great. And it seemed that every time you use that strategy, it was working. And again, her testimonial is like, you changed her life. And that's really, what people may not think about, mindset and also reaching for help. They might think that it's not for me, because there's so many ways to get help. And again, in your case, you give them a little bit of a full angle of how to see life, and you assess their needs and what their problem is, and you work with them. Again, same case with the student. You were asking like the question that they might not even ask themselves.
I
mean, really.
Exactly. And it wasn't like with like I will look for that sweet spot that will initiate the change or that will propel you forward. That's what I'm looking for. And with her, it was, it wasn't just like, okay, I'll pick this one, I'll move you from the couch to the dining table, and we're set. That it doesn't happen just like in an instant. I worked with another woman. She was an extreme perfectionist, and I was like, and like at a certain moment, we've been talking about it many times, and then I basically said to her, I don't want you to make your bed tomorrow. Tomorrow you wake up, you do not make your bed. And she panicked. She panicked. She's like, I can't do that. I can't leave the house. And it's like, yes, you can. There's people sleeping on the street. There's like all these other people. There's people living in houses that you've seen it on television. You're bad. Nothing will happen. You just try it for one night only. And she's like, so the next morning she sent me a picture of her unmade bed, and she's like, I can't leave the house. I said, yes, you can, and you can come back tonight, and you can just step into it, and you can sleep, and then there was a Friday morning, you'll be alive again, and then you can make your bed again. So okay, she leaves the house. She comes home at 6 o'clock or something, and at a certain moment she goes up to her bedroom, and I told her, do not make up your bed. It's not an option. But so she comes into the bedroom, the bed is made. And she's like, I'm shocked, the bed is made. And it's like, my husband did it for the first time in 20 odd years. And it's like, and then she's like, he didn't do it the way I did it. It's like, you better bite your tongue and not tell him. But the thing was, it's like, she never in 20 years gave him the chance to make the bed. The first time she didn't do it, he did it, and that was such an eye opener for her, that she was like, at first she was like, I need to do everything in this house, I need to, but she wanted to do everything. She wanted to control everything. And that was like really a moment where she let go. And like one of the things she said a couple of weeks later, she's like, it seems like she has a son and then her husband, and she's like, it seems there's two new men walking around in my house. And I was like, no, they haven't done anything. The only thing that's changed is there's a new woman walking around in the house. You're finally giving them time to breathe, they've just been obeying to you for the last 20 years. They've been doing exactly everything you wanted them to do, and now you just let them be. You start to to breathe, you start to open up, and that's people will reflect that back to you, and they'll open up, they'll feel the space, they'll feel the happiness, they'll feel the freedom, and that's a completely changed relationship. Yeah, and those things I find really, really cool. And then, like, what she said in her testimonial is that I probably saved her marriage, and I was like, oh, okay. She did that herself, of course, but I mean, she's not, doesn't have to be perfect anymore, and yeah, she can breathe again, and that's just really, it's really cool stuff.
Well, I mean, that's a very nice example of where someone you did all you did is guide her
Yeah.
to see a different way. And there's always that different way, but that's
Yeah.
what it is. Some people see whatever they want to see, and sometimes they're just locked into that vision, like their tunnel vision. They see one way, their way. They don't say there's many ways you can really do things differently, and your way and my way, and there's always a third way.
Oh, yeah.
My truth and the real truth, right? So there's always that, and you're right. Her mind, these are two guys in the house. She didn't think about me as the new girl in the house with a new personality, and yes, now she is relieved. She doesn't have that pressure, but that she put it on herself. This is exactly what we're talking about. People have these belief systems and their fears, and they set up these routines, and they become robotic, and then they complain. No one is actually, forcing us to do things we do. We always have a choice. Everybody listening, watching in their life, you always have a choice. We have free will. I mean, we were created. I mean, for those people that believe in creation, all stuff, even if you don't, there is something called, even if you believe the universe is a coincidence, you still have options.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You just have to, know that you have options and that you're not limited into one, funnel way. You can't just go one way. Look, there's find out more. Seek help. So that brings me to a question. Do you feel that the people are afraid of seeking help? I mean, are there any reasons why people don't want to seek help, even though they really need it so bad? Have you experienced where people, telling, oh, I don't care about coaching, I don't want to be, coach, I know I got this. Is that something you've experienced?
Yeah, no, I experienced that a lot. I mean, it's there are a lot of people, they come to me and then to be like, I'm going to try it myself, and at first I was still like, it's like, no, I can help you, it's like, this can be over in 3 months, but now I'm kind of letting these people go. They're obviously not ready yet, or they just don't. And one of the other things I find so surprising is like, people are somehow afraid to invest in themselves. You spend a couple of €1,000 on a coach, who will help you get where you want to go fast or easier, and then they'll be like, no, it's too much. I'll do it myself. Or they'll just walk out and they buy a new car, or they go on a holiday, or they go, they whatever they spend their money on, they buy a new watch, which, I mean, it's all fine, don't, but there is some kind of this belief that like spending this kind of money on yourself is a waste of money, which it really is not. If you have a good relationship with your coach, and the other thing is, you shouldn't go to a coach for things you can do yourself, but if you've been like facing the same thing for the last couple of years or longer, some people walk with these issues for 20 years, and you're not fixing it, and if you say, now I'm really going to commit, now I'm really going to do it in the next 3 months, you haven't really changed anything. So sometimes I do contact these people like 3-6 months later, and it's like, so where you're at, and they're basically still at the same space. They're still unhappy in their career or in their business, or they're still struggling with the same decision. And then I'll be like, you want to get going today? And some of them say yes, and some of them still say no. And it is something that will take you out of your comfort zone. But it should be, it's not like if this is your comfort zone, you're not going all the way out, or miles out. It's just like on the other side of the box, or on the other side of the border. It's like explore what is there and see, try something new, try something small, and that's, if you keep going in that direction, like it's a tiny little step out of your comfort zone, and then another one and another one, until like this becomes comfortable, and then in the end your comfort zone is way bigger, and you've learned so much, you've changed, you feel more free. It's like this woman I was talking about, this with her perfection. Her comfort zone was very small, because she couldn't, like, anything out of her world, out of her perfect world would be stress. And now it's become so much bigger, and it was affecting her health as well. She was calling in sick every other 6 weeks for a week or something. After we were done, she didn't call in sick one week in the whole year. And it's like her sick leave decreased by 100%, which is
It impacted positive her works, really.
Yeah.
Well, it's
and I mean, if you put it like that, that's also, it's, if you look at coaching, it's an investment, and it should have a payoff, not only like in the 3 months you work with someone, but in the years to come.
It's a
And
life
then
experience.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, you focused on the concept here. Well, you highlighted the concept of insanity in a way, because it is defined as doing the same thing expecting a different outcome.
Yeah.
A lot of us actually get caught in there, unless we're willing, open to another way. There's always another way. So and that's the part. Like for example, for me personally, I learn. I always learn stuff. I want to see this and test different things, because I want to see like what else is out there. And I'll take some from here. I'll take some from here. I'll take some from you. Whatever I hear, I just absorb that, and then maybe make the composite that I need that works for me. But the idea, I'm not closed-minded to what's out there. I'm not like ostrich effect. I just put my head down the ground and the world does end. It doesn't work that way. And so the other part is, people don't invest, as you said, into themselves the way you mentioned it is perfect. And by the way, I've experienced that even myself. When you like in the fitness world, people don't want to pay for a membership. As simple as that. I mean, coaching is a little bit more expensive, but even in a gym, we're not talking, like you'll see some people are coming, with expensive everything, right? They were not willing to buy a membership that actually going to give them the help that they need. Just a simple an example. Yet they're willing to find the same money to do everything else. Now their priorities are different. But I always say this: you are number one. We are number one. Because
absolutely.
If you take care of you, you can take care of everybody around you. And your impact around will be positive and a lot more fruitful. If you don't take care of you, your impact is not just on you, it's also on your environment and your surrounding, folks. I mean, your family, your friends, your colleagues, your everywhere. So if you take care of yourself in the right way, you're gonna, whatever you absorb energy-wise, you're gonna give back. So if your energy is kind of bad, then it's just glim. You're gonna get the same thing across the board. So that's really a challenging situation, and people don't realize that. Like, you're right. It's not only 3 months. Yeah, you gotta. It's like going to school, right? You go to school, you pay, but then you get a degree, and now you have a whole career ahead and a lot of success ahead. Same concept. I mean, you buy something that's of value, but it's an investment for a long term, and you're going to get some ROI. So same concept. This is you. And by the way, your health, physical and mental, is more valuable than anything in this world.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. And then, I mean, the only thing you take to your grave is your wisdom. It's like, and nothing else. It's like you gotta take all the material stuff. None of your family members are coming with you. They're gonna stay behind. So the only thing you can take with you is your wisdom, and that's and your experiences, of course. And this is, yeah, and don't take regrets with you. It's yeah, something. And I mean, I see people struggle, and I'm like, you could be out of here, within weeks. Not even 3 months, but within weeks, it can be over, and it can be hard, and it can be. Maybe another funny example. At a certain moment, my sister, she wanted to be coached, and when we started talking about it, and she was like, no, I don't. You can't change me, was her answer. You can't completely change me. And it's like, no, I don't want to change you. You're beautiful as you are. I just want things to be happier, easier for you. And at first she said no. And in the end she did. In the end she came back and she's like, I really need your help. So we worked on a couple of issues. But yeah, that was a really, I mean, like me and my sister are like our best friends, but to do coaching with someone that is that close to you, and she's extremely critical of me, which is totally fine. But I work through my own issues in that coaching relationship. But it was a very fun experience. I don't know why I said that, but
No, that's good. Well, that's what happened. I mean, but you're right. You were able even to assist and help the closest person to you.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's the other thing. I mean, it starts with us admitting that we need help. And at any given day, as strong as we are, we might need help. We need input. You don't always you're not going to run on your own the whole life. You need people to give you some feedback and take that. Positive criticism is always good, right? And take it in the plan. And so accepting and not being in denial is a key. And it doesn't matter who you are, how good you are, you're going to need some help. And, yes, I mean, some of us are better than others in terms of strengths and resilience, but even at that, the best of us will still need some sort of a guidance. And hearing things, right? Hearing things sometimes does have a positive impact on you, good or bad. In this case, all the good. So that's a powerful message right there. So speaking of message, I mean, we're coming to the end of the show. This is intriguing. It's always engaging. But Bas, can you just leave our audience today with a couple, just valid, strong tips, that hey, do this, and also how can people reach out to you, and do you do like online consultations, being that we're over the Atlantic here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. I was doing online before COVID, and I've worked with people face to face, or like in not virtual, and there's no difference. I mean, I create the result, or we create the result anyway, whether it's face to face or online. So one of the biggest tips, or I would say, accepting what is the shortest way to happiness, and it's a very challenging thing to do, because we're constantly, like, this inner voice inside our head is like constantly going on. This isn't right. I'm not right. This shouldn't be happening. And it's like it takes you out of the present moment. All these things are not happening in the present moment. It's and if you can train yourself in like bringing yourself back into the present moment, and accepting what is, accepting the way your partner is acting, and allowing him or her to have a bad day without you having to fix it, or to turn it around, or like in your career, you're like in a meeting where you don't want to be, it's like, okay, I'm in this meeting. I chose to be in this meeting because you walked in there voluntarily, so you choose to be in that meeting. You could have gone you could have gone any other way. You could have said, no, I can't. I've other obligations, or or I'm sick. That's also a choice. But as you're in there, try to make the best out of it. See if you can do something else. Explore. See if you can if you bring in another energy, or if you bring in another attitude, people will start to mirror you, and things will move into a different different direction. So that's one tip. And just like, if you've been telling yourself the same story for the last 6 months to 25 years, and you want to change it, take that step and change it. Whether you can do that with me or do with someone else who you find best suited. But give it a try, because it's an old story and it's an old record, and it's really time for a new one.
Well, Bas, I mean, that's deep, and that's actually perfect as the segue to the end of the show. I mean, as simple as that. Yes, if you feel that you're caught and you can't seem to be out of the same routine, find another option and find the help that you need. And so Bas is always available, and certainly he can assist in this aspect rightfully, successfully. So Bas, it has been a pleasure. It was great. I enjoyed every moment of it. I hope that we have delivered some key powerful messages to our audiences here. Thank you for being on the show, folks. Thank you for watching the iHealth channel.
Let me mention my website. I kind of forgot that. So my website is baslebesque.com. You can reach me under my name on LinkedIn as well. And then first session is free, so you can test it and then decide whether it works for you or not. And you will get a breakthrough within that session already. It might be small, it might be big, but invest in yourself. And then I let you close. Sorry about that.
That's perfect, actually. So yes, the link of the website will be on the description of the show. So anyone, please click in, reach out. And he's willing, and hey, doesn't hurt to do a free consultation. So please do. Sometimes you don't even know what's in it for you until you actually test it out. So take it for a spin.
Absolutely.
All right, Bas, thank you. Appreciate it. So again, folks, thank you for watching the iHealth channel, listening on iHealth Radio. Hurricane H here with Bas Lebesque, all the way from Spain. Thank you. Ciao, ciao. We'll talk soon at the next show. Bye-bye.
Thank you.